Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! My boyfriend had to go to the ER after an accident, and he got a truly ridiculous bill back. I offered to find the bill for her because I've done it before, and he said sure. I went all out because honestly, if we were out 5 grand after insurance, that would mess up our holiday plans pretty badly. So I had him call the hospital and authorize me to handle his bill and access his medical records. Got an itemized bill and compared the prices for each code to the fair prices. Called billing to dispute the bill, but was told that billing only collects bills and that I would need to contact admin to dispute. Bounced around a call center for hours trying to get someone who was actually qualified for bill disputes and getting nowhere. Google and LinkedIn searched for the hospital board of directors and upper management. Got 30 emails of the most influential people at the hospital, plus the hospital's investors. Every day would send a few emails, working my way up the chain, and writing an increasingly long email describing how they billed my client at 7 times over the fair price for services rendered, and how their billing department, customer service department, and the growing list of management I'd emailed had failed to address the issue. I escalated the emails until I was writing the director-level staff with the entire board of directors and a number of outside investors CC'd, asking for a written statement regarding their justification for billing at a rate 7 times higher than the national average, for commensurate services to what is available at other hospitals, externally laying out the failures to appropriately respond at every level of the company. Well, once I'd done all that, which was honestly only like 15 minutes a day, they reduced the bill from $5,000 to $26. $26. Well, I told my boyfriend the good news, and he was at first overjoyed and blown away, like literally jumping up and down and hugging me and saying that I was literally a Christmas miracle. But then when he asked how I did it, I said it wasn't too hard. I just had to send a couple emails each day. He was curious about what I'd said, and I handed him my phone. He started to get stressed and flipping back through other emails, which there were like 60 of. He told me I went way too far. He was expecting me to dispute through their billing department or something normal and reasonable like that. Not internet stalk every single manager and board member and investor and harass them into dropping the bill. I was frustrated because I just saved us 5 grand. Actually made it possible for us to afford a nice Christmas and save some money. And he was mad at me because I've been a bit harsh. I was furious. And he was also mad at me, saying he authorized me to dispute the bill, not basically threaten and harass a whole hospital for weeks. Am I in the wrong for how I got my boyfriend's medical bills dropped? And now for some comments. You're a freaking rock star and should be a damn professional advocate for those who get ripped off in healthcare like this. Your boyfriend is so unappreciative and is clearly clueless on how diligent you need to be to challenge an erroneous bill. When the hospital, doctors, and insurance companies are unwilling to help you resolve their errors, what else are you supposed to do? So many people just quit and either pay the massive bill or go into debt. Tell your boyfriend this is the only Christmas gift you're giving him. Clearly, you're not in the wrong. You are not in the wrong. Hospital billing is intentionally screwed up and difficult to address issues. When I gave birth to my kid 16 years ago, they double-billed everything and it took almost a year to get it all straightened out. I pretty much had to schedule hours into my weekly schedule to deal with contesting collections, getting it sent back to billing, dealing with some other person in billing, and so on. With a newborn through 1-year-old, and while I was also working full-time, it was an additional part-time job to fix a damn hospital bill. I honestly can't believe you got them to send an itemized bill. I recently fought with 3 separate people and none would send me one. People tell me this isn't real. The idea someone could be mad at you for sticking up for them. You're not in the wrong. Majorly. Major corporations, and especially medical ones these days, rely on people not having the knowledge and time to contest them. If they truly thought they were entitled to it, would have just said so and hung up. You don't write off thousands of dollars because you were a pest. My wife, 28, and I, 36, are expecting our first baby. 3 years ago, my wife decided she desperately wanted a cat. I hate cats, and all animals in the house really, so I was against it. She wouldn't stop talking about it, so finally we made a deal. She would get a cat, but it was her responsibility, and I would have nothing to do with it. And she agreed. She stuck to her word and I stuck to mine. I mostly ignore the cat. Now she's pregnant and asked me if I can scoop the litter until she gives birth because of toxoplasmosis. But I looked it up, and as long as she wears gloves and washes her hands, she should be good. So I told her absolutely not. She wasn't happy, but I reminded her of our agreement when we got the cat. I told her it was her responsibility and that if she didn't want to take care of it anymore with a new baby coming, we can get rid of it and find it a new home. She said no and has been scooping the litter. Her sister was over and saw her doing this and flipped out at me, telling how dangerous it is. But of course, her sister is going to be on her side and overreact. I never wanted the cat, so I don't see how I'm wrong. And now for some comments. Get a self-cleaning litter box. Then all you have to do is toss. No scooping. She really shouldn't be around cat feces while pregnant. Even at the vet clinic, where it's literally your job to clean this stuff, we do not allow our pregnant employees to clean the cat boxes. You are in the wrong. So your Google search means you know better than medical doctors now? Pregnant women are told not to clean the litter box. It can cause toxoplasmosis, and aside from that, it can be hard to bend down and move around when you are pregnant. She is carrying your child. Have some responsibility. Edit to address clarity and ridiculous comments. Quote, she can wear a mask though. Did masks stop people from getting COVID or only reduce chances? For God's sake, is that the risk you want to take with your developing child? A commenter below mentioned a friend caught toxoplasmosis while pregnant from cleaning litter box, and her baby was born with hydrocephalus, which is one of the symptoms that is listed by Mayo Clinic for toxoplasmosis during pregnancy. You are in the wrong 100%. Guess what? I'm pregnant, and I have 2 cats. I want cats. My husband didn't. And you know what? My husband loves me enough to take on that responsibility while I'm pregnant to protect our unborn child like a father and husband should. Get over yourself and be that husband you promised to be in your vows. If your wife miscarried, you think she wouldn't blame you? This all points to divorce if you do not stop thinking of only yourself. Update. Thank you for the support. Didn't expect it to blow up like it did. I received feedback that some phrasing can be taken as toxic masculinity, so I have gone ahead and removed it to prevent the point from being misinterpreted due to an offensive wording selection. My 29 female dad married a woman named Maria a year ago after dating for 4 years. My dad wanted to buy a larger house for them to live in, but couldn't afford it without selling the home he lived in at the time, which is a unique property that he dearly loves. Although I now live abroad, I like the area he lives in, and my husband offered to buy a house there that my dad and Maria could live in. My dad agreed to this on the proviso that we not tell Maria that it wasn't him who paid for the house. This made no difference to me, so I agreed. And the house they live in is in my name, and they live there. I never planned to tell her. Recently, I went back to my house country and decided to stay with my dad for half my time there. The whole time Maria made it clear I was an inconvenience and that me doing things with my dad was annoying to her. But I'm not a confrontational person, and I don't react too much, so I let it go. However, 2 days before I was due to leave, she came into my room and saw that I had my dad's dog on the bed. Now, this is a dog that my dad has had since before he met Maria and that I raised. Maria doesn't allow him on her bed, which is fine. but I've always had him sleep on mine. And she flipped out, saying this was a final straw, that she'd had enough of me disrespecting her in her own home, and that I had to leave. I tried to de-escalate the situation, saying we should just wait for my dad and sit down and talk this out, but she was adamant that I had to leave and that she had the authority to make me. After several minutes of me trying to explain to her that it was absurd of her to try and kick me out of my dad's house without talking to him, she said that what she said went, and since she married my dad, this is technically her house. I just chuckled and said, since my name is on the deed, it's technically my house. But there is no need to get technical. We should just wait for my dad. She was shocked and left the room. When my dad came back, I told him what happened, and he went to speak to her. There was a shouting match, and she didn't speak to either of us until I left 2 days later. My dad is mad, I told her, which I get, but since then, I have also got texts from her kids saying that I was a jerk for telling her and making her feel like a guest in the house. This is not the case. She isn't a guest. She's a tenant. But so is my dad. And the only point I was trying to make was that she didn't have any business trying to kick me out of my father's house, let alone my own property. I did not take it there until she did. Maybe I should have just left the ownership out and let my dad handle it. Edit. For everyone talking about Maria being a tenant and tenant's rights, she doesn't pay rent. So I don't know if that makes her a tenant technically. If it does, then as a landlord, I'm pretty sure I have legal recourse over the remodeling she did without notifying me or my approval. And anyway, I wasn't there as a landlord. I was there as a guest of another tenant, and actually she did have several weeks' notice I was coming in any case. I'm sure it's a legal rabbit hole, but the only reason I use the word tenant is to say that since she lives there, she isn't a guest in the home. And now for some comments. You are in the wrong. She internally struggled with wanting you to do what she wanted. It escalated due to her need to be the boss in her house. Quote, "You disrespect me in my house." You were gracious to allow her to save face several times. You even offered options, call my dad. This type of personality will lose it once they know they don't have control. You did not make her feel anything. She created this situation. You again are gracious to allow them to enjoy a beautiful home. Maybe she feels deceived by your father. As for the children, they need to pipe down. It was your first visit, and she was not cordial to you. You're not in the wrong. In the comment, OP points out, it's furniture owned by OP, and 2, they do not pay to live there. If I'm doing someone a solid only to be disrespected like that, I am done doing the solid. The stepmom is obviously a gold digger on a power trip. Yes, OP agreed not to say anything, but she didn't agree to being disrespected in the home she lets these people live for free in. She's treating you badly in a house that you and your husband bought for them. If this is how she acts when she thinks it's her house, you've seen her true colors. Besides, she also tries to control your dad spending time with you, so you basically did him a favor. She is lucky that you did not kick her out of the house right then and there, when she was practically berating you. You're not in the wrong. This happened in October and my daughter is still acting cold and hardly speaking to me. My daughter, female 16, works an after-school job 5 days a week. Her high school had a costume contest for Halloween. My daughter and her friends planned a group costume to enter. She went with her friends after school to buy costumes. I picked her and her friends up from the store and they showed me their costumes. My daughter spent $80 on hers. I was pissed. That's a lot of money to spend on something you're going to wear for a few hours. Very irresponsible use of money. I told her as much in the car and told her it was ridiculous. I dropped her friends off and took her back to the store to return the costume and accessories. Her friends found someone else to take her place in a group and they won the contest and a $100 Visa gift card to split. My daughter came home from school on Halloween upset. She claimed she had to sit and watch while her friends had fun and missed out on everything. I pointed out to her after splitting the gift card, it would be way less than she spent on the costume, and it was only a few hours, but she didn't want to listen to reason. Now a month later and she's still moody and mostly ignoring me. My ex-husband told me that I made her miss out and she worked so much she missed out on a lot of stuff with her friends and I could have just let her have this. But at the end of the day, I saved her $80. I was just trying to teach my daughter how to be responsible with money. She could have gotten a cheap costume, especially since she would have only worn it for a few hours. And now for some comments. You are in the wrong. Did you ever think that maybe having fun with her friends getting a group picture together in their costumes, the feeling of winning a contest and being part of something might be worth more than $80 to your daughter? You're not helping her to do anything but resent you. This is her money that she earned on top of doing school every day. You had no right to tell her to return the costume. And she has every right to be angry at you. All you did was ostracize her from her friend group for only $80. You took away memories and experiences and wonderful friendship bonding moments for $80. Can't wait for the day you tell her not to bother with a graduation gown or bridal dress or anything else that she'll only spend a few hours in because the memories aren't worth the money. Just go apologize to your daughter. You're in the wrong. Your daughter works, she earns money. Her money. As long as her obligations are taken care of, what does it matter if she splurges $80 on a costume? She can reuse it another time. Just being her parent doesn't give you control of money she earns through her work. What you wanted to teach your daughter was the value of saving, but what she actually learned was her mother cares more about money than friendships and her daughter's happiness. Furthermore, you taught her that you will micromanage her until she moves out. Congratulations! Your lesson on $80 will prompt her to be spending that money on rent, utilities, and groceries at her first opportunity. Hopefully, one of her friends will be her roommate. You are in the wrong. Thank you for watching and see you next time.